Hi, today we are going to be making some black bean burgers, and these are an excellent option as a meat alternative. They're a good source of protein, high in fiber, and we've even added some extra veggies and some extra whole grains in them to kind of beef up the nutritional palate of those as well. So a lot of these items could be found in the pantry. The really great thing about a black bean burger is there's a really easy recipe to alter to kind of meet your dietary needs. Whether you're on low sodium, low cholesterol, we'll do some different swaps out that make it really simple to follow. Or if you don't like black beans, you can most certainly use pinto beans, white beans, whatever the case may be. Traditionally, black beans are used because of the color for a burger, but any of those beans would be a good alternative to use. So to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to take a half of a bell pepper chopped, and we're going to add it to a skillet with a little bit of oil. And then we're also going to take about a quarter onion chopped as well. And we're going to let this saute, so you want it to get it nice and caramelized in here. This is really important that they're chopped very finely, because what they're going to do is they're going to go into our burgers to really add up that flavor and enhance the flavor of the beans. So once that's done cooking, we're going to get something that looks very similar to this. At the very end, once it's really almost done, we want those onions to be caramelized where they're turning brown, and we want the peppers to soften. We still want them to be pretty green. We don't want them to start to be really brown. That would be an indication that we've overcooked our peppers. And then at the very last, we're going to go ahead and add some garlic to that. I have just about, maybe about 2 cloves of garlic or so already minced. We'll add that there. And when you're adding garlic to foods and you're cooking, you really only cook for about 30 seconds. You want it to release that flavor, but because it's minced, it'll burn pretty quickly. So about 30 seconds. Once it's really fragrant, go ahead and turn the heat off, and then you're ready to go. So what I have here is we have our mixture already made, and then I have 2 cans of black beans. These are rinsed and drained. And then I have a handy little potato masher. This is a really great tool to use because it's going to make it a lot easier. We're doing a lot of mashing, which can be kind of a strenuous exercise, getting some good arm muscles there. If you don't have a potato masher, that's totally fine. You can use a fork if you'd like. Another way that I think would be a lot easier is if you put it like in a Ziploc bag, and then we're able to mush it up that way. That's also a good alternative as well. We can do all of these things very simply in our kitchen, even if we have a rather scant kitchen tool supply set. That's no problem at all. So we'll get these nice and mashed. Like I said, it takes a little bit of elbow grease here. And then we'll go ahead and we will add in our other ingredients to mix. And it's okay if not all the beans are completely mashed. It kind of gives it a good texture and a good little appearance to have those pieces of whole beans in there. So that's no problem at all. Just wanted to get it nice and incorporated so it has kind of a pasty-like texture. Okay, so once those are nice and mashed, we'll go ahead and add our seasonings. Today I've chosen to do cumin, chili pepper, and a little bit of paprika. Cumin's really nice. It complements the black beans really well. It's one of the most common seasonings in like a taco seasoning, so it gives it kind of that little bit of a Southwest kind of flair. Chili powder's really good. It adds a lot of flavor, not necessarily a lot of spice. And then paprika helps with the browning and just kind of enhancing some of the other spices as well. And then I have about a half a cup of brown rice. This is already cooked. This was left over from our meal earlier in the week, so that works well in this recipe. This just acts as a binder. If you don't have rice, you could use breadcrumbs or crackers or something else to kind of help it all congeal together a little bit better. And then I just also have a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Mix that together really good. I'm gonna swap out tools here. We're gonna mix. Get it nice and all incorporated, and then we're also going to add in 1 egg. So this would be something, this is just 1 egg that I've lightly beaten. If you are on a cardiac diet or you're watching your cholesterol, you can most certainly use just the egg yolk or the egg white, leave the yolk away. You can use like an egg beaters or an egg white product, and that's totally fine. So after it's all mixed, your mixture is going to look something like this, and we can take this now and we'll form it to patties to cook in our skillet. So the consistency of this is kind of I'll show you. It's a little bit sticky. You have a little bit of residue on your hands. but it's very easy to form and kind of work with. If it's a little wetter than this because your beans weren't as well drained or anything like that, that's totally fine. You can add just a little bit extra breadcrumbs, a little bit extra rice to help absorb some of that liquid content. And then what you do, you take your patties, you want to form them to the size of your bun. Today we're making little sliders, so ours are a little bit on the smaller side, but you can make them whatever size bun you have. You'll go ahead and add them to your skillet, and they just cook for a few minutes on each side. Not very long at all, probably about 4 to 6 minutes for our patties this size. If you're doing a full-size patty, probably about 6 to 8 minutes per side as well. Then when we're done, we can go ahead and prepare our burgers, and we can dress them any way we like. Over here I just put on some lettuce, some tomato. Some of my favorite condiments are usually mustard for a burger. Mustard's a good condiment because it doesn't have a lot of added sugar, it packs a lot of flavor. If you like mayonnaise, that's totally fine. Mayonnaise is another popular one at our house as well. Mayonnaise, if we're using a mayonnaise, we can use an olive oil based mayonnaise or a light mayonnaise, but really the key with mayonnaise is to use a small portion size. And then there you go, easy, simple black bean burgers. It would be a great way to incorporate alternate proteins, adding in some different healthy nutrients for you, getting those extra servings of vegetables, and then eliminating the meat consumption you're doing in this summer season, so you're having some different options for you and your guests.